Today on John Davis True Crime, I'm going to watch the old Summer Wells. Well, it's not that old. It's from June, I believe. WJHL interview with Summer's parents. I hadn't checked in on the Summer case in a while. This was the most recent media event I could find. Thought we'd just check the mood, see what was up, see how Dawn and Candace were acting, see what went down. Give us a refresher. Been off the case for a few. Feel this is a good way to get back introduced. See what things are like now. Let's watch, shall we?
Parents of then 5-year-old Summer Wells from her Hawkins County home.
3 years, been over 3 years now. It was 3 years back in June. God, 3 years. She was only 5 when she went missing. She's been missing over half her life.
The night she was reported missing, authorities said Summer was last seen walking from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community. Hours later, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation would issue an Tennessee Bureau of Investigation would issue an endangered child alert for her. That would later turn into an Amber Alert. Night she was reported missing, authorities said Summer was last seen walking from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beach Creek community. Hours later, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation would issue an endangered child alert for her.
Walking from her home? She was last seen walking from her home? Thought she was last seen walking down into her basement. Who last seen her? What?
That would later turn into an Amber Alert.
To this day, law enforcement still has not located Summer Wells and are not any closer to finding her. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniels spoke with Summer's parents.
We have pushed investigators for months to learn about new details or updates in this case. What we do know is that her family continues their search to bring Summer home. I spoke with both Dawn and Candace Wells in Kingsport at a place with deep meaning to Summer's disappearance.
Borden Park is anything but quiet this time of year. But 3 years ago, it was filled almost weekly with people praying for Summer Wells.
I see all these families, with their kids and how much they enjoy them and stuff. And we were stripped away from all our kids. All our kids have been kidnapped from.
Well, he says that, but actually, since we're speaking of all our kids, there's more kids than that, which they didn't successfully complete raising from 0 to adulthood either. So they're like 0 for 7 as a couple.
Unless by DCS and who know, we're not sure about Summer, but we know about where our boys are at.
While the prayer vigils are now few and far between, Dawn and Candace Wells haven't stopped praying that their daughter Summer will be found.
We have hope, always. But there's not much hope in this world. We have to trust God that there's hope in eternal life in heaven.
Summer was reported.
That's what bothers me is every time he talks, when it's to the media or somebody like that, it's all religious God speak, all of it. And people that have come out and had been around Dawn said this was not how Dawn acts.
Reported missing on June the 15th of 2021.
We know that she was taken off her property, and we know she was taken away in a vehicle, or they would have found her in the area if she was somewhere in the area. But who's responsible for her? We don't know.
I asked.
For all he knows, it could be his wife was responsible for her. If he wasn't there, she something happened. She moved her, went back out, and moved her again. Because I fully 100% believe EquiSearch found signs that she was there and had been moved. I'm convinced.
Dawn and Candace, when was the last time they heard from investigators?
We haven't lately at all. It's been a while.
Said it's been a year since he's heard from investigators. That was probably when he got released from his stint he pulled.
Over a year, I think. I haven't talked to any law enforcement at all. I tried to talk to the FBI agent about it, but that didn't go anywhere.
Dawn says
your daughter's missing. You're innocent. Why ain't you giving police up and down the road constantly calling? What are you doing? Why is nothing being done? Are you pushing the investigation? Haven't spoke to him in over a year. Doesn't seem like it.
He feels that he and his wife, Candace, were targeted by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
They intimidated us. They belittled us. and done everything they could amidst all the chaos. And then
We've seen your record, Dawn. You're no stranger to police. Don't act like the police experience had you rattled. I don't buy that shit.
CPS was there doing the same thing.
When asked about how he thinks about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Dawn spoke about a
She should have wound this up. When asked how he feels about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Dawn threw out some bullshit.
Department of Children's Services investigation.
They said somebody had called and said that we was giving our kids loaded guns to play with. And so they closed the case June 14th, which is something CPS does not do. They don't just close cases. So it's really odd and mystifying why they closed the case June 14th and then 20.
So CPS, instead of just taking her, we've all seen the crib. They could have just took her, said, look, the kids can't live in these conditions. Sorry, it's too dangerous around here. I'm sure they could have legally took her. Instead of doing that, they decided to close the case, come back the next day, and kidnap her.
24 hours later, Summer's gone.
Summer's mother, Candace, sat in for part of our interview, but got up after a few questions.
She was going to.
Boom! WJHL throwing shade at Candace's ass. Said she was going to sit in for the interview, but after a couple questions, she got up and left. Too emotional 3 years later to do an interview for her daughter.
Try, but her emotions are just too much.
The last update in the Summer Wells case from law enforcement was an age-progressed photo released in June of last year. This image was released by the
I ain't going to comment on the image.
Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. If you have any information about the whereabouts of Summer Wells, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. That number is right there on your screen.
Well, that's it's the most recent we've really heard out of the two in a setting. Kenneth sat there for a couple questions. She decided she had enough, and that was it. So I don't know. I see there's 30 YouTube channels covering the neighbor's cousin, sister's boyfriend, and all that. I don't think it's that much of a mystery. I think it all starts right there. That's JDTC. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you later.
Got a monster inside of me. You better watch out if you ignite me's a road ahead of full prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he grows me and he gets claws real big, pissed off quick. And if you cross him, you might drop dead.